Deep in the Himalayas, hidden inside the deepest canyon on Earth, China has begun building the single largest construction project on the planet. A dam so enormous, so powerful, that it will generate 3 times more electricity than the biggest dam in the world today. To build it, engineers have to drill straight through an entire mountain. It will cost an estimated $137 billion, and it sits just 30 kilometers from the border of India, a country that now believes China is quietly building something far more dangerous than a power plant. Many there believe it could one day be used as a weapon. This is the story of China's mega dam and why half of Asia is holding its breath. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what China is building, the almost unbelievable engineering behind it, and the reason this single dam could spark a water war between 2 of the most powerful nations on Earth. By the end, you'll understand why a power plant in a remote mountain valley has an entire continent on edge. But before we begin, please take a quick moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the biggest builds on the planet. It genuinely helps us out. Now, let's get into it. It's officially called the Medog hydropower station, and the numbers behind it are honestly difficult to even process. When it's finished, it will be the largest hydropower project in human history, full stop. We're talking about a planned capacity of around 60,000 megawatts. Now, that number might not mean much on its own, so let's put it in perspective. The dam is expected to generate roughly 300 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity every single year. That is almost 3 times the output of the Three Gorges Dam in central China, which right now holds the title of the largest power station on the entire planet. Think about what that means for a second. China already owns the world record. The Three Gorges Dam is so massive, it's one of the few human structures people claim you can pick out from space. And China has decided to build something that doesn't just beat it, but nearly triples it. To generate that much clean power, the project isn't even a single wall of concrete. It's a chain of 5 linked hydropower stations, all working together along one dramatic stretch of river. Enough electricity, in theory, to power an entire country on its own. But here is where the story gets truly wild. Because the location they chose to build this is one of the most extreme places anywhere on Earth. The dam is being built on a river called the Yarlung Tsangpo, high up on the Tibetan plateau. And this is no ordinary river. The Yarlung Tsangpo is the highest major river in the world, sitting thousands of meters above sea level. It carves its way through the Yarlung Tsangpo Grand Canyon, which is the deepest and the longest canyon on the planet. To give you a sense of it, this canyon is roughly 3 times deeper than the famous Grand Canyon in the United States. A place so remote and so rugged that for a long time, much of it was barely even explored. And it's the very shape of this canyon that makes the whole impossible project possible. In one dramatic section, nicknamed the Great Bend, the river suddenly plunges around 2,000 meters in elevation over a stretch of just 50 kilometers. That huge, rapid drop acts like a giant natural battery. All of that falling water carries an enormous amount of raw energy, and that energy is exactly what China's engineers want to capture and turn into electricity. So the obvious question is, how do you actually do it? And this is the part that sounds like pure science fiction. Instead of building one colossal wall to hold the water back, the plan is to redirect the river itself. Engineers intend to drill 4 enormous tunnels, each one around 20 kilometers long, straight through the heart of a mountain called Namcha Bawa. The river will be diverted through these tunnels, sent plunging downward, spinning massive turbines along the way, and then return to its natural path further down the canyon. Just sit with the scale of that for a moment. Boring 4 separate tunnels, each one about the length of a small city, through solid rock, in one of the most remote and dangerous places on the planet. There are barely any roads, the weather is brutal, the altitude is punishing, and the terrain is some of the most unforgiving on Earth. This is engineering pushed right to the very edge of what humans can currently do. China formally approved the project in late 2024. Construction officially began in July 2025, led by the state-owned giant Power China. and the full system isn't expected to be generating power until sometime in the 2030s. This is a project measured not in months, but in decades. Now, so far, this might sound like an incredible, if extreme, engineering achievement, a clean energy marvel rising out of the mountains. But there is a problem, a very big one, and it has almost nothing to do with engineering, because this river does not stay inside China. After it leaves Tibet, the Yarlung Tsangpo flows across the border into India, where it becomes the mighty Brahmaputra. From there, it continues onward into Bangladesh, where it is known as the Jamuna. Along its journey, this single river system is a lifeline for well over 100 million people. It feeds their farms, fills their fisheries, and provides their drinking water. Across the wider region, more than 1 billion people depend on the rivers that flow down from these mountains. And that is exactly why alarm bells are now ringing across South Asia. Here's the core of the issue. The dam is being built incredibly close, around 30 kilometers, to a stretch of border between China and India that the two countries still bitterly dispute. And many in India are deeply worried. Their fear is simple, but chilling. If China controls the tap at the very top of the river, then what happens to everyone downstream? In a future conflict, could China choose to hold back the water and starve Indian farms during a critical dry season? Or even worse, could it suddenly release a massive surge of water and unleash a catastrophic flood without warning? Some Indian officials have openly described this as the threat of a water bomb, a river turned into a weapon. China, for its part, has firmly pushed back against these fears. Officials insist the dam is what's called a run-of-the-river design, meaning it doesn't trap and store huge volumes of water for long periods, the way some giant reservoirs do. They say it will not harm the countries downstream, and they've even argued it could actually help control the seasonal floods that hit the region. Some experts agree the real impact on water flow may be smaller than the worst fears suggest, since much of the river's water actually comes from rainfall further downstream, inside India itself. But India is not taking any chances. In direct response, India is now racing to build a giant dam of its own, on its side of the border, in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. That project could cost in the region of $13 billion, and part of its purpose is to act as a buffer, a shield, against whatever China decides to do upstream. And Bangladesh, sitting even further down the river, is watching this entire standoff with growing unease. So in a very real sense, this is no longer just a construction project. It has become a high-stakes geopolitical chess match, played out over the control of a single, sacred river. And as if the politics weren't dramatic enough, the dam also faces enormous natural dangers. This entire region sits right on the boundary between two gigantic tectonic plates. It is one of the most seismically active, earthquake-prone areas in the whole world. Engineers have to design a structure of this size to somehow survive powerful earthquakes, in a place that is also known for devastating landslides and sudden glacial floods. A single major quake in the wrong place could be catastrophic. On top of all that, this canyon is a genuine ecological treasure. It is one of the most biodiverse places in all of Asia, home to snow leopards, Bengal tigers, thousands of unique plant species, and some of the oldest and tallest trees on the continent. Critics warn that building a megaproject of this scale, right here, could do permanent, irreversible damage to a truly irreplaceable corner of the natural world. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, you start to understand why the entire world is paying such close attention. On one hand, this is a staggering feat of human ambition, a clean energy project so vast that it could help power a nation, cut emissions, and completely reshape China's energy future. On the other hand, it's a structure that has rattled two of its neighbors, raised serious environmental alarms, and is being built in one of the most dangerous landscapes on the planet. The truth is, the Medog Dam is about far more than just concrete and turbines. It has become a symbol of exactly how far a country is willing to go to control energy, water, and power, in every single sense of that word. Whether it ends up remembered as one of the greatest engineering triumphs of the century, or as the spark for a dangerous new conflict over water, is a story that is still being written, right now, deep in the mountains of Tibet. So here's my question for you. Is a project like this a brilliant, bold step toward a clean energy future? Or is it simply too dangerous and too powerful to be controlled by a single country? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the projects shaping our world. Until next time, stay curious and we'll see you in the next one.